You know, in the very last book of the Bible, there's this single, really cryptic announcement that has puzzled people for centuries. It declares the fall of a massive empire. But one of the most compelling ways to look at it suggests this empire wasn't a place at all, but an idea. So today, we're going to decode Revelation 14:8 to uncover what Babylon really is, and why its fall might be more relevant to us now than ever before.
Wow. Fallen, fallen is Babylon the Great. I mean, that sounds super final, right? Like a headline from the end of the world. But this one verse is a huge puzzle. Who is this Babylon? And what is this mysterious wine of wrath? Here's the thing. The answers aren't just in the English translation. To really find them, we've got to go back to the original source code, so to speak.
So, our first step, we've got to peel back the layers of translation. Because the original language, well, that's where the real clues are hidden. It's kind of like this ancient text is a case just waiting for us to solve it. That's right. The original Greek text is where the keys are. I'm talking about specific words, even the grammar itself. They unlock the true meaning of this verse. So think of us as linguistic detectives for the next few minutes. Our investigation, it starts right now. All right, so we're going to put 3 specific Greek words under the microscope. Each one is a totally crucial piece of this puzzle, a clue that's going to help us build our case. Ready?
Our first word is epesin, and it means fallen. Now, you notice it's repeated, right? Fallen, fallen. That is not some ancient typo. In prophecies like this, repeating a word was all about emphasis. It's like shouting, "This is absolutely 100% certain. It is finished." The collapse is total, and there's no coming back from it. So that's our first big clue. This isn't a prediction of something that might happen. It's a declaration that it's already a done deal.
Next up, we have the word porneia. Now, it's often translated as fornication. But, and this is a huge but, in these prophetic texts, it almost never means a physical act. It's pointing to something way deeper. We're talking spiritual unfaithfulness, idolatry. This is our second major clue, and it's a big one. It's telling us we're probably dealing with powerful symbols here, not literal events. The crime wasn't physical, it was spiritual.
Okay, and our final linguistic clue comes from this verb, pipotiken, has made to drink. Now stick with me here, because the grammar is so important. It's written in what's called the perfect tense. What does that mean for us? It means it's describing an action that was completed in the past, but its consequences are still rolling out, still being felt today. So this tells us that whatever Babylon did, it's an event that has already happened. And believe it or not, we are living in its aftermath. Okay, so let's just step back and review our clues, right? We have a collapse that's certain and complete. We have a crime of spiritual unfaithfulness. And we have an event that already happened in the past, but it's still affecting us. You see where this is going? It's becoming pretty clear that Babylon isn't just some city on a map. It has to be something else entirely. And that brings us right to the heart of it, the central question of this whole investigation. If it's not the historical city of Babylon over in Mesopotamia, then who or what is Babylon? And here it is. This is the core interpretation from our source material. Babylon isn't a city, it's a system. Specifically, it's a symbol for the corrupted religious order of that time. We're talking about a system that claimed to represent God, but had actually teamed up with worldly power to fight against his true message. So what does a system like that even look like? Well, picture this. It's a toxic mix of legalism and greed. It's a religion built on how well you perform, on pride. It's a system where holy things, like God's law, get twisted into weapons used to control and condemn people, instead of leading them to life. This is spiritual unfaithfulness on a massive institutional scale. Okay, so we've nailed down Babylon as this corrupt system. Now we have to decode the second part of the verse. What in the world is this wine of wrath that it forced all the nations to drink? The source material lays out this incredibly powerful contrast. On one hand, you have Babylon's cup, filled with the wine of wrath. What is that? It represents a false gospel. It's the lie that you can earn your salvation through just performing a bunch of religious rituals and keeping the law perfectly. It's a message that, in the end, only leads to condemnation. And then you have the complete opposite, the cup Jesus offered, the cup of life, which is all about grace and forgiveness, a free gift because of his sacrifice. You know, the Apostle Paul actually nailed this idea perfectly in his letter to the Romans. He says that the very commandment, the law, which was meant to point us to life, he found it led to death. Why? Because it was being misused by this system of self-righteousness. And that's exactly what this Babylon system did. It took something holy and pure and turned it into poison.
All right, we've decoded the language, we've identified the symbols, we have all the pieces. Now we can finally put them all together and answer the biggest question of all. When did this final, irreversible fall of Babylon actually happen?
And this right here is probably the most crucial point of this entire interpretation. The fall of Babylon isn't some prophecy about the future. No, it's a declaration of an event that has already been accomplished. Remember that Greek verb we looked at, pepatikin? A past action with ongoing results. The fall has already happened, folks. This timeline really helps visualize that huge turning point. See, under the Old Covenant, people were in bondage to this legalistic system that Babylon had corrupted. But the cross was the moment everything changed. In that single moment, that entire system was judged, it was exposed for what it was, and it was spiritually overthrown. And that ushered in a whole new covenant of grace and freedom. And this framework, which is drawn straight from the book of Galatians, just makes the symbolism even clearer. The old religious system, what Paul calls earthly Jerusalem, or what Revelation calls Babylon, it's all about bondage. But the new covenant, the heavenly Jerusalem, is defined by one thing: freedom. So the fall of Babylon was literally the moment that bondage gave way to freedom. So when you boil it all down, the fall of this corrupt system was possible for one reason: because Jesus took that cup of wrath, the full judgment we deserve for all our failures. He took it upon himself. He drank every last drop so that in its place, he could offer us the cup of grace, the cup of life. So where does that leave us? What's the ultimate takeaway here? I mean, if this system of Babylon, this system of religious performance, of control, of spiritual pride, if it was really defeated 2,000 years ago, what does that mean for you and me today? This interpretation suggests that Babylon isn't some future empire we should be looking for on the news. No, it's a temptation that's alive and well right now, the temptation for us to build our own towers of self-righteousness instead of just accepting grace. So the question becomes, how do we recognize and how do we resist the spirit of Babylon in our own lives?